Yeah, especially with those eyes. The woods really seem a bit creepy. Another turn, and we've stepped beyond the town's boundary. Trees loom above us, moonlight flooding through the bare branches to afford some light. Alkar leads me a little further away until the roofs of houses are barely visible, then turns to me.
A little while ago, I got into a fight with one of your hunters.
He jerks his chin toward the town.
Well, not one of yours exactly, I suppose, since you just got here and all, but one of theirs. Some bloke. Don't even remember his face all that well.
Alkar pauses for a moment, rubbing at his chin almost nervously, his eyes narrowed. But then, he shakes himself off it and continues.
It was during a full moon. I had an argument with my sister. Didn't go well.
He grimaces at the memory.
And when I transform, especially if I'm upset, my control isn't as good as it could be.
Oh.
But I know I didn't kill him. Would have damn well remembered that. If you ripped a man apart with your own claws and teeth. But when I came to, he knocked me out, I guess. You hunters and your annoying little gadgets. Your enforcer friends were already swarming over us like hornets. But there was no blood. Not mine, not his.
That doesn't mean you didn't hurt him. Alkar gives me a look.
Okay, smartass. The point is that he vanished. Poof. The enforcers, dragged me off to their fun little dungeon and kept me there for fuck knows how long. A week, I think. Maybe more. And then they just poked and prodded me a bit. Then they let me go. Felt like they wanted to do more. Like they had plans for me, but...
Sounds pretty creepy.
Maybe it was too dangerous to just snuff me, I guess. I know too many people. Ezra, Finn. But here's a question for you. What do you do when a creature hurts a hunter so bad, he apparently isn't walking around anymore?
I press my lips together. Nothing pleasant, I know that much. Assuming the creature in question was allowed to escape with their life at all. But sometimes they are let go, marked that are too delicately tied to the order of things to be freely snuffed, as Alkar had so elegantly put it. But surely if he wounded a hunter so terribly, he would still have been in the dungeons. Perhaps Finn or Ezra parlayed for your release. But Alkar's shaking his head.
They didn't. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you hunters don't get retirement leave till you can't walk on two legs anymore. And even then...
Well, they're always prosthetics. Alkar barks a sharp, bitter laugh and shakes his head, but neither he nor I find humor in it. I know. He's quiet for a moment, running a hand through his hair, messing with his clothes, fidgeting, nervous. I step back a pace to let him collect himself. No use pushing him for anything now, not when he's already so moved telling me everything he knows. I didn't kill that hunter. I didn't. I wouldn't forget something like that, and enough to never do it by accident. Never. Alkar's frown is deep, but his words are as quietly fierce as they are pleading. Oh. Yeah, maybe you noticed that I stopped flirting since going on a date with Finn. But in this case, I like that I believe you more. So we take it. I believe you. The words are easy to say, and easier still that they are true. I know, rationally and instinctively, that Alkar tells the truth. And I make them believe too, if you like. Alkar stares at me in response. No clever word this time, just stares. Arms loose at his side, surprise evident on his face. He stares like he's never seen me before. Is something wrong? Huh? No, He looks away, scratching at his head. Then he chuckles, suddenly so disbelieving it almost hurts to hear it. But at the same time, so relieved. And I have to wonder how many people didn't believe him. Not just about this, but about other things too. He mentioned his sister briefly, and that he had a fight with her on that night. He's never mentioned any family otherwise. Thanks. Alkar grins at me, and is a lot less awkward than I figured it would be. You're welcome. I have another question. Were you aware that Omen comes from hell? Alkar frowns at me, then squints, then snorts. Of course, where else would he be coming from? The general store? I hope he doesn't hear the sound of my teeth gnashing as loudly as I hear it. Or with the way his ears suddenly stand up and the cackle. And no, he's seen something. I meant, did you know that he's the son of the literal devil? You were the one who didn't ask. You weren't giving me a chance to, as I recall.
And why exactly should I have told you? Oh, by the way, we've got a demon prince in town. He's easily spooked, but don't you worry about that because he's harmless. Like that would fly.
He pauses for a moment to consider his own words, then shrugs. That was a secret to tell, and he didn't have anything to do with the meth that has been cropping up around here, including that fact. Besides, Ezra was the one who chose to offer him a place to stay. Same as he offered to help me, help Finn, help anyone who so much as looked like they needed it. Omen came to his door, asking for aid. Why would he be different than any of us? Than you? We took that in that night too. I can think of a few ways a hunter might be different from all of those things, but I understand the spirit of it. Omen has good, loyal friends in his town. I understand. Alkar inclines his head in acknowledgement, his eyes sharp. It's more force than I've ever seen from him. Good. Then he chuckles and leans away, signifying that the conversation is at an end. See you tomorrow. Why are you going off to so soon?
Back into my hovel before the big handsome vampire comes to scold me about staying out in the cold. What else?
And excuse my nosiness, but you look like you've seen some hell yourself, not just the Prince of Hell. I frown. Am I that obviously rattled? But now that it's been said, I do feel a building headache behind my eyes. Not from the ghost of James alone, but from, well, everything. Alkar's staring at me again, tilting his head this way, and making a show out of squinting at me. Yeah, definitely look fluid. Fit for bed. Well, don't stray too far. I might need you tomorrow. I have a plan.
A plan, Well, don't worry too much. I'll be a stone's throw away, whether you like it or not.
When you need me, you need me. Until then, later. He disappears into the tree line, as sure-footed as ever, and once again I'm left alone in this damn forest. I begin to make my way back to the wolf, my mind reeling again, as it always seems to be these days. Though I feel hopeful, my plan seems plausible, the little team of misfit helpers I've managed to assemble more than capable of carrying it out alongside me. I think. I smile to myself, feeling a little lighter. Then, a rustle. Something moving in the tree line a little too close to the edge of town for my liking. We don't wait, we advance. I step forward, my footsteps quiet and assured as I advance back toward the thicker forest. Another rustle, closer this time. Then it lumbers into view. It's hunched over and misshapen, with long, gangly limbs that look out of place on its own relatively normal-sized body. A single twisted horn grows out of his head, and I spot 3 eyes. The third seems new and underdeveloped, and it melts crudely above the existing left socket. I It would be nice to have artwork of that. It's covered in patches of scraggly fur and scales, and in some places its skin is entirely burned off. An amalgamation of mismatched parts and pieces that look like they don't belong. A cloudy gaze meets mine, and merely looking at it gives me a headache. There's this weak, demonic aura that makes my body beg me to look away. Then something hits me. Something that makes me hesitate to draw my weapon. I cannot place this feeling of complacency, of ease, or nor can I fight it. Is this how my comrades were killed so easily? Does it have some kind of power over us that makes us freeze, become immobile? Or is it the dull ache of familiarity that settles in my gut that makes me pause? The feeling that I shouldn't harm it, that it deserves empathy, mercy. It opens its crooked jaw, melted sinew and mottled skin stretching and splitting to reveal a set of violent, jagged teeth. My body screams at me to fight, but my feet are firmly planted and stuck to the forest floor. My fingers don't move. My weapon is so frustratingly safe in its holster. It takes a purposeful step towards me with a low, rattling groan, its teeth bared. My heart races as I stare into its unfocused eyes, all three of them blinking out of sequence. There's a loud ringing in my ears, and I've never felt like this before. My instincts are screaming, pulsing, dying for me to do something. Anything, and yet all I can apparently do is stare down my bitter end. Then something washes over me. In a split second, again perfect, blinding clarity. Run. James. The creature takes another step and howls, a broken, blood-curdling screech. Run! I listen. Pick your route. And yeah, at this point we can decide which Romans we're gonna take. And not surprising, we go to Finn. Though my body already knows where I need to go, where I want to go, my feet carry me toward the catacombs. Who could say no to this handsome, hot vampire? I don't look back, but I do hear the rustle of trees and the creature's maddened aura fading. It's heading back into the woods. The town is safe. For now. Though I'm sure he's aware it's me, he still seems surprised when he opens the door and finds me in the dull light of the corridor. Ethan, are you okay? His wide-eyed gaze brushes over me, and I can see him registering that something isn't right. He gently curls his fingers around my wrist to urge me inside. When I don't respond, the door closing with a loud thud behind me. Strangely, I'm shaking, and I can't quite place why.
What is it? Who hurt you?
Oh. I'm rarely fearful of creatures, but this one shook me to my core. Something was off, too familiar. I saw it. Golden eyes meet mine, and the warm they exude calms me in an instant.
Breathe. I've got you. Now, tell me. What did you see?
I shiver as my adrenaline fades, and in an absent-minded gesture, he rubs his hands over my arms to try and warm me. The creature. I think I saw it. I couldn't move. It was like it paralyzed me. That there was something that didn't feel right. Like I knew it. Like we were connected. His brows furrow, and he takes a careful step closer as I reach for his arms. I hold onto him as if he might anchor me, make all of this feel real. I was drawn here, something magnetic pulling me towards him in a time of confusion. I've barely known him a week. There's something about Finn that makes me feel safe and strong and wanted. We should go out there, see if we can find it. I can practically see the cogs turning in his mind, and as he moves to leave, I tighten my grip. I need him to stay. I want him to stay. I want him. Finn. In the warm light of the room, Finn's face has taken on an otherworldly quality. The way the golden shadows dance across his shaped features makes me wonder how many people he's lured to the end. I wouldn't blame them. Even I am drawn to him like a moth to a bright, bright flame. There's truly no mistaking that he's not human. Deadly. And yet, another step closer, my heart a hammer in my chest, and we are so close that I can feel his breath against my overheated skin. Ethan. The unsaid longing, the desire that I feel when I'm near him, something I've tried to quietly snuff out, using the formalities of my position as an excuse. A creature, something I'm supposed to hunt, but he's the one whose presence has made me feel like I truly belong here. Comfort in all of this darkness and uncertainty. I'd mark myself a fool if I ignored such feelings. Everything could end tomorrow, and I'd never know. I tilt my chin in invitation, my chest heaving, and surely my rib would be bruising if he were human. He curls a cold fingertip at my cheek, and I know he's not reading my mind, but his next words are still everything I long to hear.
Can I kiss you?
Aw. Yes. That's all it takes for Finn to press his cool lips against my willing mouth. He places a hand up on my hip and draws me close. The first kiss is quick, but it still lingers when he pulls away, his eyes desperately searching for my face. I exhale sharply, a beat passing between us, then I kiss him with fervor, my tongue finding his between carefully parted teeth. Eventually, I need to pull away to catch my breath, and I'm overwhelmed by how right it felt. He smiles when you realize I need to breathe. True, he doesn't. Giving me a moment and placing a kiss against my jaw and trailing it back towards my mouth. I hold him close, pushing my hand up over his spine, raking my nails along the dark fabric. I can feel his muscles shift and relax beneath my touch. Then, a shared smile, and Finn kisses me hard, fueling the urgency that thrums between us, kick-starting something within me that makes my breath hitch. I hear a low growl, a rumble in his chest. It's a revealing noise, the kind that seems alarming at first, that gives way to an approving, throaty groan. He carefully walks me backward until I hit the door, and with an unexpected complacency, I find myself following his lead and sinking back against the wood. You have a thing with walls and doors, don't you? Oh boy. He makes a quiet noise. It sounds a little like a purr. I cannot resist reaching out to drag a hand down the pale plane of his exposed chest. Understandable. And Finn is clearly drinking the way my fingers feel upon his skin. He's reveling in the attention. We pause, forehead presses to forehead, and the fathomless gold of his eyes burns into my own. My breathing is wrecked, clawing free from the embers of my chest, and I smile. He sucks in a sharp breath, smiling and looking at me like I hung the moon. The words that roll off his lips are raw and honest, laid bare before me, washing away whatever hesitation I may have felt before this moment.
You were like a madness, one I'd happily succumb to.
Likewise. This mission has been nothing but one mystery after another, but this he reveals gently and passionately. We reluctantly part and Finn steps back, putting some distance between us. Though our fingers are still lazily entwined, the feel of him cooling in my overheated skin. I mean, just look at him. I am such a sim. Well, I promise not to overdo it. He smiles, turning and breaking our contact as he takes a seat upon his bed.
So, this changes things between us, I suppose.
I sure hope. I clear my throat, unable to wipe the smile off my face. His kiss lingers. You could say that. He looks up at me, and I find myself caught by how beautiful he is. Tell me everything will be okay. He feigns contemplation, his gaze flickering to the side, then back to my face.
It will. You're smart and you're strong, and I consider myself lucky to be able to help you. Lucky to know you.
Aw. There's been so much uncertainty, but of him, I'm beyond certain, rounded and stronger. I know me, you do. He laughs, biting his bottom lip. His support makes me feel unstoppable, as does everyone else's. No longer am I alone in this. I have a family. Everything is going to be okay.